Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So what I have for you guys today is potentially another series coming onto the channel, guys. So if you would like to see more top 10 lists based around the championship, make sure you do leave a like on this video, and as well as that, subscribe if you are new around here. So what we're going to be doing in today's video, guys, we are going to be counting down the top 10 transfer flops of the championship for the 2016/17 season, guys. So if you guys do have any other ideas for what you think I should do for potentially other top 10 lists based around the championship, make sure you do leave them in the comments down below. I already have some ideas for what I want to do for future videos on this series as well, but make sure you do leave a comment as to what you think I should be doing as well. So of course, this list right here is all in my opinion, guys. These are, in my opinion, who have been the top 10 biggest flops signings of the season for the championship, guys. But I'd be very interested to know as to what you guys had to say on the situation. So what I'd love to know really is, first of all, do you agree with my top 10 list or not? And who do you think has been the biggest transfer flop of the championship this season? So basically, who's been the worst signing? So coming in at number 10, guys, on my list is actually going to be Sergi Canos, who did sign for Norwich in the summer transfer window. Now, I do feel a little bit bad putting Sergi Canos on this list because he is actually a very talented footballer, and from what he's shown at Brentford in the second half of the season, he's actually doing really well for them, and I think in the future as well, he will be a good player for Brentford. However, when he did sign for Norwich in the summer, that transfer, it just has been a flop, you know. He signed from Liverpool's under-23 squad and for a fee of 2.5 million. And how many games did he start for Norwich? Just one this season, just one start for Sergi Canos, and he has actually left to go to Brentford in the January transfer window. So to pay 2.5 million and to get one game out of the player, that's a transfer flop in my opinion. And then, guys, for number 9 coming into our list, we have a Preston player, which is going to be Owen Doyle. Now, this probably isn't going to be a surprise to a lot of people that I'm going to include Owen Doyle onto this list, guys. So let me give you a bit of background with Owen Doyle. He signed for Preston North End in the summer after we had, I'd say, an uninspiring loan previously to him coming into the squad. So we got him in the transfer window of the summer. A lot of Preston fans weren't sure why, really. Grayson took a risk. That risk obviously didn't work, but in the 11 games that he played for Preston North End, he managed to get one goal, which isn't great. But as well as that, he also got into a fight with a fellow teammate in Jermaine Beckford against Sheffield Wednesday, which I'm sure all of you guys will remember. And since that, he's actually been loaned out to League Two's Portsmouth. So that sums up really what level he's currently playing at this point in time. And the fact that he's got in as many fights as goals he scored this season just sums it up, really. And then for our next transfer flop, guys, coming in at number 8 in the list is going to be Marcus Antonsen, who signed for Leeds United in the summer for a fee around to be up to £2 million. And how many goals has he scored? This is a striker, by the way. How many goals has Antonsen scored since signing for Leeds? He's only managed to go ahead and bag one goal. So to be signing for a fee which could rise up to £2 million and to be only bagging one goal, that has to go down as a transfer flop in my opinion. Of course, he hasn't really been helped because he's not really been involved in any of the squads Gary Monk has put out this season, and a large majority of that really has been thanks to the fantastic form Chris Wood has been able to display this season. And you know, with him like being Leeds' player of the season, this guy's not had a chance to get into the squad. But you know, paying $2 million for a guy that's only got one goal and can't get into the squad, a poor signing in my opinion. And then coming into the list next, guys, coming in at number 7 for our championship transfer flops, we have Anthony Stokes of Blackburn Rovers. So he signed for Blackburn in the summer transfer window, and he came in with quite a large expectation on his shoulders, really. Of course, he was previously playing in the Scottish League, where there he had a pretty decent scoring record. So coming into this Blackburn Rovers side, I know a lot of Blackburn fans had high hopes for him coming into the squad, but since signing for them in the summer, he's actually only made 2 starts for this championship side, and honestly, he just can't get into the squad. And as well as that, he's also, I believe, one of the highest earners at Blackburn as well. So to accumulate all that, that's just money being wasted away, being sat on the bench. And to top it all off as well, as if his footballing abilities hadn't been the best this season, he's also been forced to pay a fee of £200,000 to an Elvis impersonator who he headbutted in a nightclub. That's just mental. And then coming into our list next, guys, we have Nathan Byrne of Wigan Athletic. So he comes into our list at number 6, guys. He signed for Wigan Athletic from Wolves in the summer transfer window for a fee of around about £500,000, and since then, really, he couldn't really get into the Wigan squad, which was a disappointment from him. He didn't really fit into the play style that Wigan were going for this season. He, of course, is a right wing back, which they've not really used too many times this season, and that has been shown. You know, he only started 6 games for Wigan this season before he was loaned out to League One's Charlton Athletic, where he's now playing his football. So to pay 500k for a player who you instantly loan out, it's not a great return. And then coming into our list next, guys, we are at the halfway stage now. We are at number 5, and coming in at number 5 is actually going to be another Preston North End player. This time, it's going to be Andres Lindegaard. So, of course, he arrived to Preston from West Brom on a free transfer, so that aspect isn't too bad. However, he is one of Preston's highest earners, if not like the highest earner at the club, and he's actually been sat on the bench since September. So, to be sat on the bench for all of that time, wasting all that money for Preston, really, Andres Lindegaard has most certainly been a big transfer flop this season. When he was playing up until September, he actually conceded 18 goals for Preston North End, including in that was a 5-0 hammering we got to Brentford and a 6-0 demolishing we got away from home at Newcastle. But since then, Chris Maxwell has come in between the sticks and he has been absolutely fantastic for us. So really, Andres Lindegaard, just a poor signing overall really, because he wasn't needed for us. Then guys, we move on to 4th in our list, and coming in at number 4 is going to be Paul Gladden, who signed for Wolves in the summer, guys. So this guy, being a striker, signed for Wolves for a fee in the region of £1 million in the summer. So, you know, to be signing a player for £1 million, you're expecting quite a few goals to come in to the squad. So since signing for Wolves, how many games do you think he's actually featured for them? He started 1 game for Wolves. Since signing for them in the summer transfer window, Gladden has only started 1 game for Wolves. And of course, in that game, he didn't score or anything like that. So to return with no goals and only 1 game played for £1 million, this guy has been an almighty flop of a transfer coming into the Championship this season. And Paul Lambert was actually quoted a couple months ago saying that he's not up to speed with Championship football, and that just sums it up completely, really. Basically, he's just not good enough. Now guys, this is where the list gets really interesting. So coming into our list at number 3 is going to be Peter Odemwingie of Rotherham United. Now, we have quite a few things to discuss with Peter Odemwingie because he's been involved in quite a bit of drama this season, I think it's fair to say. But honestly, he's not actually a bad player in my opinion. He does have bursts of quality. It's just that he has got an almightily bad attitude. He's got an awful attitude, and that was summed up really with his time at Rotherham this season. And probably his highlight of his season at Rotherham came against Leeds United, where he was sent off for an awful elbow on Leeds' Liam Cooper. And when he was sent off, he went into the dressing room and then went ahead and tweeted out why the sending off was an injustice and all this sort of stuff. I'll put the tweets on screen now. So as you can see, this was, by the way, when the game was still going on. He decided to tweet this out. I was unlucky with the red card. We normally jump up with our hands up to protect each other, and I expected his to be up as well. That is just absolute nonsense from him. And when he did see the replay, you can see there, he then responded by saying, I didn't mean to, but I accept the referee had no other choice. So he was tweeting this, by the way, when the game was still going on. That is just absolutely crazy from Odemwingie. And then to top it all off, he decided to leave the club. And the way he decided to leave the club was by sending the manager a text message saying that he won't be renewing his contract with Rotherham. He only signed on a short-term contract. So that just sums it up completely. And overall, just a flop of a signing. So now, guys, this is where the list gets really interesting. So we now are into our top 2. So coming in at number 2 and just missing out on the number 1 spot for our top 10 transfer flops is going to be Nottingham Forest Nicholas Bentner. And oh my, where do I start with this guy? First of all, he did come with a very big reputation, you know, understandably so, coming into Nottingham Forest, you know, previously playing for Arsenal and playing in the Champions League for Wolfsburg and all that sort of stuff. So he came down to the Championship, and Forest fans, rightly so, were expecting big things from him. And in the end, he actually managed to score 33% of his goals for Derby County, the Forest's biggest rivals, as he only scored 2 goals for Nottingham Forest in 17 appearances. He also scored an own goal in the local derby for Derby. So that means he scored 33% of his goals for their main rivals, which is just absolutely mad. And his poor performances did see him actually leave Forest before the season had finished, as he has now gone off to play his football elsewhere. And then, guys, coming into our list at number 1, honestly, it could only be one player. I'm sure this comes at no surprise to anyone watching this video. By far the biggest transfer flop of the transfer window, guys. guys, for any championship club has to go ahead and go to Ross McCormack. After signing for Aston Villa for a fee around £12 million for Fulham, he's just been absolutely awful for Aston Villa, and that's been seen really with him of course already being loaned out to Nottingham Forest because of his bad performances. In the 20 games that he did feature for Aston Villa, he only managed to contribute 3 goals, which is just, for a £12 million player to be having that sort of goal ratio is absolutely abysmal. As well as that, his poor attitude was topped off really when he started skipping training for Aston Villa, and his excuses for missing training was that his electric gates at his house weren't working. I don't even know what to say about that really. It is just absolutely stupid. Considering as well the amount of money that Ross McCormack will be on at Aston Villa, it'll be something stupid around 50 grand a week or something obscene like that. So to be skipping training because your gates aren't working, I don't even know what to say about that. It's just hysterical, really. So Ross McCormack does come out of this one on top, by far the biggest transfer flop this season. Let me know in the comments down below if you do agree or disagree with my list of the top 10 transfer flops this season. I'll be very interested to know. But apart from that, guys, that will now wrap it up for this video. So if you have enjoyed, make sure you do leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you check out all the other links in the description down below. Make sure you go ahead and drop me a follow on Twitter, as I always tweet before I upload a video. Therefore, I'll never miss a video ever again, guys. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe for regular championship content. But apart from that, I'll see you all in the next one.